As I reached across the Starbucks pickup counter for a straw, I heard the beautiful woman next to me politely say, "Excuse me." But in my head, that's not what I heard. Instead, I heard this beautiful woman say, "Indeed, I noticed you too, Danny." I had just pulled my little red convertible, i.e. my Vespa, into Starbucks to quickly grab a cold drink for the ride back home to my wife, Kirsten, with my scooter helmet still strapped to my head and my body now tingling with the excitement of the beautiful woman beside me. I unwrapped the straw and put it in my drink. That's when she said, "Wow, you're a real risk taker. Drinking that while you're riding down the road?" But that's not what I heard. Instead, I heard her say, "Danny, you're so damn dangerous and thrilling. How have you managed to stay so brave and strong all these years?" 52. Shoot, you're 25. I'll bet you're sporting a six-pack under that shirt. Even better, a mature kegger. Extending my hand, I dared to introduce myself. In return, she graciously conceded and offered her hand with a customary smile. And then, while looking me straight in the eyes, she genuinely stated, "I like your eyeglasses." Yes, 5 other people had also told me the exact same thing that very week. Regardless, in my head, I heard the beautiful woman say, "Gosh darn it, Danny. You're so handsome and intriguing. I'd love to get to know you more." Now fully invested in my narcissistic fantasy, I dared to imagine this beautiful woman wanted me completely, unabashedly. Thankfully, my Christian holiness prohibited me from taking her up on the offer. What I needed to imagine was a blatant temptation. As I made my way out the door and over to my Vespa, I couldn't help but notice that this beautiful woman was also walking out the door, only a couple of steps behind me. It didn't take but a hot second for a surge of thrill to electrify my body. Through the hum of my inner erotic electricity, I could feel the beautiful woman saying, "I want to be with you, Danny, somewhere discreet outside of this place, so we can more fully indulge our desires." Now, having reached my Vespa, the beautiful woman walked past me with a courteous smile and the kind gesture of a friendly wave goodbye. But courtesy and kindness is not what I felt, because it's not what I wanted to feel. Instead, I felt the beautiful woman say, "Yes, Danny, our little tryst was as good for me as it was for you. And if you pursue me, I promise I'm all yours, honey." As she walked away, I imagined her beauty was mine for the taking, and that if I dared, just for a moment, to let her delicious goodbye smile press against my mouth, I would finally know, once and for all, that I was a real man, significant, powerful, and worth pursuing. There's a curious moment in our sacred story where Jesus tells some self-important, holier-than-thou religious leaders Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. It's curious because these self-righteous leaders were trying to trap Jesus with a trick question. So in a deceptive move of repost, i.e. public word games, they asked Jesus if it was lawful to pay taxes to Caesar. It's a tricky question because if Jesus said, yeah, it's lawful, then he would have potentially compromised, if not undermined, his own message of the kingdom of God, a divine kingdom that was being made present through Christ, a kingdom that, according to Jesus, was going to displace all other kingdoms because of its sheer weightiness and glory. And if Jesus answered, no, it's not lawful to pay taxes to Caesar, then he would have essentially signed his own death warrant by publicly rebelling against the Roman Empire and Caesar, who by title and position was assumed to be the embodiment of God on earth, a divine agent that was literally worshipped by will or force as the Son of God throughout the entire land. So Jesus shrewdly answered their IRS question through the magic of redirection. By doing so, Jesus cut to the heart of what was really the most important issue: identity. Your and my identity because of the identity of God. Here's how Jesus answered them. Hand me a coin, he said. Whose image and inscription is on this, he asked. They answered him, Caesar's. And that's when Jesus said, then render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. In other words, Jesus was saying, these people belong to God. So give the people back to God. Stop enslaving them in holier than thou religiosity and abusing them in your secret narcissistic fantasies of power. It's ironical that whenever Jesus is seemingly entrapped, he uses it as a perfect opportunity to set people free. Like when he set you and me free by willingly being trapped on a cross. And how specifically does Jesus set us people free? By validating and reaffirming your and my true identity as those who belong to God, because we bear the image and likeness of God's glory. My aforementioned erotic fantasy in Starbucks wasn't about every man's battle, so to speak, or even lust per se. And it certainly wasn't about intimating a less than marriage or wife. Kirsten, my bride of 25 years, is both beautiful and satisfying, and braver than most to bless this, my vulnerability. At ground level, my narcissistic fantasy was about a momentary loss of identity, not remembering the glory of God that I really am because of who Jesus actually is. Consequently, I was willing to give myself over to anyone or anything that would name me. But know this, when you and I don't know our true identity as the image and likeness of God, and exactly what that means, we will inevitably find ourselves enslaved by others. even by the entrapment of our own narcissistic fantasies. As I mentioned in episode 1, Know Thy Story allows you to know yourself and understand your unique identity by honoring the paradoxical reality that you are at once a story being told within the imminent context of a glory story that already defines you. So if you'd like to know and understand yourself more, be sure and sign up for the Know Thy Story YouTube channel. You can also go to doc-danny.com. Again, that's doc-danny.com to take advantage of my counseling and coaching services, which I provide in person or via live secure video all around the U.S. and now even in other countries. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Danny, and this is Know Thy Story.